Hello and welcome to Ginger Prime. My name's Brian, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, Soul Nation. Thanks for coming and checking out this Godfall guide, in which that I hope to really give you a good rundown of the systems, combat, the Valorplates, and more. There's so much to explore, and I'm really enjoying this game. In fact, if you want more of my thoughts on it, you could check the playlist in the description below. But before we do all of that, I think the most important thing is to start off with combat. Combat in Godfall is one of the things that you're going to do a lot of, and there's a lot to enjoy about it. Now you can see here I'm just coming up on a group of random enemies. I'm going to go ahead and just do a basic light attack, and by hitting them I can knock them out pretty well. Using the right trigger I can actually do a heavy attack. So a lot of the game's systems are designed around these light and heavy attack skills and abilities. Now there is a lot of complexity there, and that comes into the soul shatter system. Alright, so for the soul shatter system, which is a fun thing to say 3 times fast, I'm going to go ahead and hit these enemies, and you can see it's got a little white bar outline. Now if I follow this up with a heavy attack, that's going to take off that entire white bar, thus allowing me to do a lot more damage. Now I can go ahead and focus on a couple of these weak enemies, get blasted because of course it's a guide, and I'm going to go ahead and attack. Now, also while attacking, while you're swinging, you can cancel out by pressing A and be able to dodge. Now the one thing you want to do with the Soul Shatter is that as you build that up and knock out a lot of that energy, you can see here I can now do a finishing move by pressing down on the right stick. This is going to put out a lot of damage on the enemies themselves. But the other thing about Soul Shatter comes into play when you actually finish them off with that white bar. So let's see if I can do something like that and demonstrate that here real quick. Alright, let's go ahead and heavy attack this guy. And you can see when I finish him off with a Soul Shatter, he explodes, restoring some of my health, and obviously just being very cool to look at. So you want to be able to play around with that Soul Shatter and then try and grab those finishing moves to be able to overall increase your combat flexibility. Now a big part of this is you see the enemy dodging. A good part of combat is going to be in movement. So you want to make sure you're moving around, dodging and attacking accordingly. Now in this quest that we can see here, I'm supposedly fighting this guy, this Rancor, and this is going to be a boss enemy that I need to complete. So this is where Soul Shatter is going to come more into play. The more light I attack, the heavier that bar is going to get. So pay attention as you attack and as you build up their Soul Shatter gear. This is also going to play into how you actually build out your class. So if you see something that's going to focus in on soul shattering, you can do so from there. Now at this point I've also taken some damage to heal yourself, which I have. You get up to 3 soul gems to do so. You press X to go ahead and do that. Alright, and a heavy attack should finish him off. If I hold down the right trigger, I'll actually do a charged up heavy attack. And then for bosses, you get the option to finish them off as well in a very splendid and beautiful way. And then the boss is going to drop lots of loot. So if you're not aware of what Godfall is, it's a looter slasher. It's an action RPG with some very wild combat scenarios and a lot of different weapons to choose from. So hopefully that combat explanation made a little sense, gave you some insight into soul shattering. One of the really interesting things about the game is that after you beat the mission, you actually have the ability to do bonus objectives. You can activate what's called the Twilight Beacon, and it's going to give you new objectives to explore. In the open world, you can press left on the D-pad to basically show off enemies, weapons, gear, things like that you want to be able to pay attention to and find. If you find something like this that's a little out of reach, just hold down your left bumper and then right trigger to be able to throw your shield accordingly. Now we saw a glowing light over here. If we go and inspect what's going on with it, we can find a lost or a fallen soldier. Holding down the B button will allow me to acquire, as in this case, a Valor Core, which will allow me to unlock more Valor Plates along with the other resources that you find here on the open world level. So a big part of the game is doing some exploration in terms of where things are in each individual level. In this case, this yellow light is revealing to me a treasure chest, and when you see this blue glowing light, this is telling you that there are like some more of these, like I guess the way that blue lanterns is the way I'll best describe them, that I want to go ahead and break. You can break it with a weapon, or you can break it by just throwing your shield if they're out of reach. Now if I come back and look at the treasure chest again, it's going to show me blue lights in the direction that I need to go, and that's where I should be able to find my next blue lantern. Alright. With that lantern broken, let's see if the treasure chest will let me open it up. With all the different lanterns that are tied to a chest like that broken, you can open it up and claim all your additional loot, as well as you can also rank up with each of your Valor plates. So let's go ahead and end our mission right now and go forward and talk about Valor plates. When you get started in the game, it's going to open up your first Valor plate, which in this case is the Phoenix. Now, Valor plates themselves offer two different functions, both kind of a look and feel, but overall a loadout. When you go and you pick a Valor plate, in this case Phoenix, I can actually say copy my current loadout by pressing the Y button, and it's going to take all of my gear and apply it to the Phoenix. But if I wanted to, say, play with different weapons, I can actually do that and basically tie them to the Valor plates themselves. By pressing X, I can equip it, but what really kind of also separates Valor plates, but beyond just a look, is a part of what's called their Archon Fury. It's the little power bar that is below your life that you fill up, and you can press down on the left stick and the right stick to unleash this. Every Valor plate has its own Archon Fury, but also every Valor plate has its general perk. In this case, Phoenix has a 10% to inflict Ignite. Then if you go into Archon Fury, you're going to have a 90% chance to inflict Ignite, 100% damage to ignited enemies, and you'll also unleash a shockwave that's going to deal 30 points of fire damage. So that's the whole point with the Phoenix. Now, if I go look at another one, in this case, the one that I have yet to unlock, you can see here the Archon Fury is what's going to be displayed at first, and in this case, Mobius is going to have a 10% chance to inflict Curse. And in a Fury effect, you're going to summon 3 Void Sentinels to fight alongside you. And then again, you get the 90% chance to inflict Curse and 100% damage to Curse enemies while you're attacking, and your attacks deal Void damage. Now, what's important here is you can see I have the Valor Plate cores to unlock Mobius, but I don't have the Etheric filament that will allow me to unlock it. So as you play in the different zones, let's just go ahead and talk about the zones real quick. You can see right now Earth and Water here. These are going to unlock different materials that you can find while just running around the level, but also you can find them by rewards in each individual one. So just taking a look at this, I can see this is going to reward me with 4 Earth Sigils, 1 Rare Charm, 10 Infused Jasper, which is a currency used to unlock a couple of the Valor Plates, and then you're going to also complete optional objectives to earn even more bonus rewards. Shifting over into the Water Zone, same kind of concept. You're going to earn different sigils, and you're going to earn crystalline tears, coins of valor, and things like that will open up things and for you. Now, the reason why this is important, the game will have you go back to previous levels to farm materials, because right now I need to use some more water sigils to be able to fight the boss of the water level to ascend to the 3rd tier in the game itself. So don't ever feel bad, because every time you rerun a level, you're going to find a lot of value in it. Now, if we go ahead and take a look at the different Valor plates that you have access to, you have Vertigo, which is going to be a chance to inflict shock, and each unleash a shockwave that's going to do air damage, and you can see what they look like right there. Then if we take a look here at Ashhorn, you're going to see you're going to take 5% less damage. So this is a great way, especially if you want to be able to survive a little bit more, you can have that. You can also call forth 3 Spirit Warriors to aid you in battle. And when you're in Archon Fury, you're going to have any nearby allies take 30% less damage. And whenever you hit, you shoot 3 projectiles that deal 98 physical damage to nearby enemies. So this is a great tanking Valor plate for you. Then you've got Illumina. This is going to have a 50% weak point damage, and then an Archon Fury effect of a shockwave that deals 5 physical damage and reveals enemy weak points in that regards. Moving down the list here, we've got Hinterclaw, 5% critical hit chance, and call forth 3 Spirit Warriors to aid you in battle. Then you've got boom, baby. Mesa. Mesa here is a great Valor plate. If we look at their Archon Fury, 10% chance to inflict poison. I love that. You also unleash a shockwave that deals 30 earth damage to enemies around you. Your starting Valor plate right here, Silvermane, 10% weapon technique charge speed and shield charge speed and polarity attack charge speed, and you're going to call for 3 Spirit Warriors to aid you in battle. Now, during the Fury, you get 300% weapon technique charge speed, shield charge speed, and polarity charge speed, and 30% damage whenever you defeat an enemy with a weapon technique, shield, or polarity ability. Going on the left-hand side here, we've got more Valor plates. Arm Assist, 10% breach damage. Unleash a shockwave that breaches nearby enemies and deals 5% physical damage. Then you've got The Typhon, 10% chance to inflict chill. You see I almost got them unlocked. That's actually the next one that I'm going for. And then you'll summon 3 water sentinels to aid you on your quest. Then essentially you've got Greyhawk. Greyhawk here is your 10% Soul Shatter buildup. So that we were talking about earlier in the combat, this is a Soul Shatter build here. Unleash a shockwave that applies 30 Soul Shatter buildup to nearby enemies as well. We talked about Phoenix already. Then the one I'm currently using, Bulwark, you can see here, Archon Fury, 10% chance to inflict bleed, summon 3 physical sentinels by your side during Archon Fury. And then finally, again, where we started with Mobius, that chance to inflict curse and summon 3 void sentinels at your ready. Now, beyond just the Valor Plates, because the Valor Plates are, a gear set in a way, if you've ever worked and played Final Fantasy XIV or something like that, but you also have the ability as a part of your equipment. Now, in your equipment categories, you can carry 2 weapons, of which you can switch to by pressing the Y button. So here I have basically a regular sword, and a great sword in this case. And you can kind of practice all your attacks here in kind of what I would say is probably the tower, if we were going to call it anything in this regards. But so beyond that, you have 2 weapon categories. You have your amulet and a charm, rings, and then you have your lifestone and a banner that you can equip. Now, beyond this, if we go into our augments by pressing right trigger, as you level up, you're going to unlock new augment powers so that you can then equip these different augments that you can see what they apply. Now, pay attention both to the level and the upper right hand corner. I guess if I move my mouse, you can actually see it. Oh, it went away. You get your different augments, which will give different secondary skills and other additional bonuses to how you have your build. So there's a lot of things just in your gear alone. This is really where more of the game and the build, and maybe if you're thinking of a class, comes into play outside the Valor Plates themselves. So you get these weapons, you get these unlocks, and you can see the different bonuses that you have with them. If we go over and just into the armory alone, you can see the different weapons that you've collected, different life stones, different rings, charms, amulets, banners, and augments as well. Now, if I go to the weapons, because I have plenty of them, I also have some weapons that I've gotten that are higher level than I can equip. So required level is going to be what sets that weapon for you to equip in this regards. If you have no need for it, you can hold down Y and salvage it. Now, you might not see anything that came out of it, but trust me, you're getting something. If I press B and I return to the main screen, you can see I get some currency and some sun steel. So basically breaking down these weapons will give you, and things you aren't using, material for the forge, in which that you unlock the forge. You can come in here and you can pick any of your gear. Now you can see this weapon is not fully, upgraded. So if I press A on it, I can actually have an additional upgrade slot if I have the material needed. In this case, I'm a little bit short. So if I just pick on like this green weapon and want to choose to upgrade it, this case, Electrum is your basic currency. So its power goes up. And then as I continue to upgrade, it's going to continue to require new materials. As I continue to upgrade these weapons themselves, they'll actually open up additional traits that you can upgrade. And then some of them will have more and more traits to choose from. Now, as you get higher and higher, you're going to get into Dragonsteel as a currency. Note that that is very expensive and rare. You can see I only have 2 of them. So I'm going to hold off upgrading this weapon for this tutorial for now. As you upgrade them, you're going to have that maximum level that they can reach. And ultimately, you can have a lot of fun with it. And finally, in the upgrade category, you actually have the option to enchant. Enchantment takes it from its base or its current rarity and even upgrades that. So in this case, I could upgrade my Rosary Epic Longsword into a Rosary Legendary Longsword, in which that I get even more additional traits from enchanting. In this case, it's going to require a little bit more Dragonsteel than I have. Thus, whenever you see Dragonsteel, note that that's a really good thing that you can acquire in the game, because you're going to need a lot of it. Finally, when it comes to our build itself, you have the concept of skills. As you level up, you're going to get additional skill points, and you're going to be able to use those skill points and further use them within any of these different categories. So quickly, just to kind of pay attention, the first weapon techniques, I have that boosted all the way to level 5, each requiring a skill point. As you go down the skill tree, you're going to unlock new branches that you can make your way all the way through it. So if I open up weak points here, and I purchase this skill, now I have a pathway to finesse and a pathway to spirit. And you can see here different stats, different ways to impact your recovery. But one of the things I've been personally working towards is finesse, because it gives you the ability to evade and slide, which ultimately looks just both cool, but also it's a good perk to having with your combat. Now, before we go and wrap up this video, I want to kind of highlight one more thing when it comes down to playing the game. Right now, I'm in a single player environment. At the current time of this recording, it's impossible for a player to join you when you've already started a game. So if you want, and you want to make sure that you kick off a mission correctly, be sure to hit Y to start a party, and then you can hit Y to invite a friend on your friends list. The game currently at the time does not support crossplay, but hopefully it will in the future, and hopefully more and more people will check out this game for themselves and see if it's something that they are more apt to enjoy. And it's with that I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, or there's things that you want me to do more in terms of the Valorplates or coverage, just let me know in the comments below. If you feel like I've earned it, be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button, and let me know if you do, so I can officially welcome you to the Soul Nation, so you can get random free compliments at the start of videos. But for Ginger Prime, I'm going to leave it at here. Hopefully you have a fantastic day, and I hope to see you in my next video. But until then, take care. This video is sponsored by me, Ginger Prime. Hopefully you'll check out my podcast channel, Ginger Gaming Radio, which we have lots of guests, lots of great conversations, and even more highlights. Links are in the description below. Let me know what you think. Thanks. Alright, so now I can go and write a heavy attack. If he would just not dodge and teleport, of course he would. Alright, buddy.